Welcome to this explainer. One of the most common questions I hear is, can I get the IRS to remove my penalties and interest? And the honest answer, not the sales pitch you see in those TV ads, is more nuanced than a simple yes or no. Understanding this nuance is actually what separates people who save real money from people who waste time on the wrong strategy. So let me walk you through the truth of how this actually works. Here's the rule that nobody clearly explains. Interest on the original tax you owe is charged by law under IRC Section 6621. The IRS cannot simply waive it, even if they wanted to. It is a statutory requirement. So anyone who promises to erase all of your interest is either misleading you or doesn't understand the code. That's just the reality. But, and this is a crucial but, here's what is negotiable. When the IRS removes a penalty, it also removes the interest that was calculated on that penalty. So if you have a $1,000 failure to file penalty and 6 months of interest accrued on top of it, killing the penalty kills that penalty interest too. The interest on your actual tax remains, but the interest on the penalty goes away. This distinction is incredibly important for your strategy because it means the first thing you should always do is figure out how much of your total balance is penalty, how much is interest on penalty, and how much is interest on the underlying tax. That tells you what's actually winnable versus what you're going to need to pay regardless. The free calculator at ustaxpenaltysaver.com actually shows you this exact split. You can see the penalty portion, the penalty interest, and the tax interest separately. That's your strategic map. So let's talk about the 3 methods for getting penalties removed. Method 1, first-time abatement. If you have a clean 3-year record with no prior penalties, the IRS removes 1 full year of failure to file or failure to pay penalties. No hardship proof needed. This is always your first stop because it's the fastest and easiest win. Method 2, reasonable cause. If you can't get FTA, maybe you had a penalty 2 years ago. The traditional route is to prove that a legitimate hardship prevented you from complying. The IRS recognizes 11 categories: serious illness, death of a family member, natural disaster, fire or casualty, reliance on a tax professional who gave bad advice, inability to obtain records, military service, incarceration, mental incapacity, and other circumstances genuinely beyond your control. For reasonable cause, the IRS evaluates your request on 4 factors straight from their manual, IRM 20.1.1.3. You need to show what happened, how it prevented you from filing or paying, that you exercised ordinary business care despite the circumstances, and what corrective action you took once the situation resolved. Hit all 4 factors and you have a strong case. Miss one and you're looking at a denial. Method 3, and this is the rare one, actual interest abatement under IRC Section 6404. This is the only way to remove interest on the tax itself, and it only applies in very specific situations. Either the IRS itself caused an unreasonable delay, like they took 18 months to process something that should have taken 60 days, or a federally declared disaster applies under Section 7508A. It's narrow, but if your situation fits, it's the only path to removing interest on the underlying tax. So, here's the strategic framework. Start by running your numbers, see the split between penalty and interest. Then check FTA first. It's the easiest. If FTA doesn't work, evaluate reasonable cause. Do you have a qualifying event? And only if neither applies, look at whether Section 6404 interest abatement might be relevant. The tool at ustaxpenaltysaver.com walks you through this entire decision tree. It checks your FTA eligibility, guides you through the reasonable cause categories, flags whether interest abatement might apply, and generates the matching letter for whichever route fits. All free.
Here's the bottom line. The IRS waives penalties far more often than most people realize, but interest on the tax itself is almost never waived, unless the IRS caused the delay. Aim at what's actually winnable, and your odds of success go way up.
Start with the free calculator at ustaxpenaltysaver.com. See your specific breakdown and take your first strategic step. This is general information, not legal or tax advice. Interest abatement under IRC 6404 is rare and fact-specific. For your particular situation, consult a licensed tax professional.